What is happening, everyone? Welcome to GBALL Vision. Tonight we are going over some of my favorite high-value knives of 2023. Now I know we still have another month and some change to go, and we can update, at the end of the year. But as of right now, I wanted to cover some of my favorite knives of the year that I thought was the best value that you could get during the year. And we're going to kick it off with the CJ RB Echo. Now, I have the liner lock version of this knife as well in micarta, straight micarta. It is contoured. It doesn't matter what Echo we're talking about here. I think they were all fantastic, especially at the price point. You're going to be getting RPM 9 blade steel, a nice usable sheep's foot blade. Depending on whether you went liner lock or button lock, very fidgety action, and detents and spring detents were very well tuned. Ray Laconico designed, and just a phenomenal knife. I tend to lean towards this one a little bit more than the Warney Pyrite, although that is a fantastic knife as well. This one in particular is sporting a titanium pocket clip. The Echo is definitely one of my favorite knives of 2023. Let's go ahead and get to the next one. Next up, the MURON Centurion. For under 50 bucks, guys, this is a fantastic deal. It's one of my favorite knives of the year when we're talking about high value. 14C 28N on the blade steel. You got dual deployments. Love this blade shape. Nice little clip point blade. You got thumb studs and a rear flipper tab. Detents tuned very well. Great access to the liner with a nice big chamfer. Great G10 handles, very well finished. They're smooth, but they're still grippy. It's kind of hard to explain, but once you have something like this, you kind of understand it's smooth, but when you need it to be grippy, it will grip you. And then you got a titanium milled pocket clip, G10 backspacer. You have a aluminum anodized pivot collar there on the back. Nice clean front show side on the blade there. Little MURON on the pivot there. And a lot of knives, guys, that are in the high value range are going to be coming from a select few companies. So there will be some duplicate companies in this list, but they are for sure some high value knives. Let's go ahead and get to the next one. So next up, we got the CIVI Ball TI, guys, and this bad boy is coming in 14C 28N. Nice Tanto blade here. A very long secondary edge, two usable tips, very nice long straight edge here, nice and pokey. You have dual thumb studs and a rear flipper tab for deployment. Detent is tuned pretty well for this big boy. You have some burlap micarta here, deep carry clip. It will be reversible. The only knock on this knife is the limited access to the liner, but at the price point, it's something that I've kind of looked past, and just because this thing is such a massive knife, I love this thing. Getting this in hand, you definitely feel like you have a good old big boy in your hand. Next up, we have the CJ RB Large Size Pyrite. RPM 9, G10 handles, steel liners. You have a deep carry steel clip there. It will be reversible. This knife is fantastic. This is everything I wanted the original Pyrite to be, and I hope they do a Warney Pyrite just like this soon. The spring detent is tuned perfectly. It almost feels like it has a real detent in this guy. Stone washed, nice drop point blade, fidgety as all hell. Good hand filling knife, great EDC. Love the large pyrite. This takes the cake, and someday if they do them, they might already be out. If they're not, I'm going to be getting one when they do, is a premium large size pyrite, because this thing is absolutely fantastic. Next up, we got the Kaiser Bug Guy, and this knife really intrigued me when it first came out, and I just had to pick one up. I love this blade shape. It's very unique. You don't really see this kind of swedge going to the tip. It's just very unique. I love this. It's almost like a bull nose to me, or something of that nature. You got the bullet hole for your deployment along with a fuller there. Detent is tuned absolutely to perfection on this guy. Great action. I hope and look for Kizer to do a XL size of this knife, because that would be just fantastic. Just upscaling this thing a little bit in the blade and handle. Keep the same nice, beautiful micarta. You have a steel rollover clip there. You have some internal milling done. Just a fantastic, fantastic EDC knife. They did give you a nice amount of access there on the liner. They didn't chamfer the liner for whatever reason. Does it need it? No, but it's nice to have. It's just one of them things where they give you an awesome amount of access, and then they missed out on the chamfer. It just would have been a nice little touch, but that is also something it's not a big deal. It's still easy to disengage, easy to get to. Not a big deal at all. Just a little critique for Kizer for in the future. Chamfer that lock bar, chamfer that liner, chamfer it, chamfer it, chamfer it. But the Kaiser Bug Guy with that micarta, 154 cm, just a fantastic EDC work knife, great user knife. Love the Bug Guy. Next up, we got the Savi Cubit. This bad boy has a leaf-shaped 14C 28N blade, nice and thin, nice and slicey, very pokey. For as small as this is, it fills out the hand very well, and you can choke up right behind that edge. Good spring detent. The only thing I don't really care for is how they did this area here, and I don't like that they didn't give you a filler tab. There should have been absolutely no reason not to give a black filler tab here in aluminum or steel or something, just to clean that up just a touch. It would have looked so much better. I threw a screw in there just to try to kind of fill that void. I might throw another one in there if I have one. Rollover clip works good. Standard Civivi clip. The Savi Cubit in 14C with the aluminum handles. It's a great little EDC secondary style knife in my opinion. Let's go ahead and get to the next one. The Migon Moero is definitely on this list. This took the knife community by storm when it initially came out, and I actually missed out on the initial release of this knife because I was buying Migon and AMH's premium knives, and I just happened to look over this, miss out on it, because I have a bunch of Migon's more budget-ended knives, and I just kind of looked over it. But 14C 28N, you have a great cutout there for deployment. G10 handles, G10 backspacer, steel liners, titanium milled clip. They do have some internal milling done in there for weight relief. Great access to the liner with a nice chamfer. Migon does it right, guys. Great pricing, great materials, great builds. I love what Migon is doing over there. I think his name is Sam Liu is his name, the owner of Migon, and just does a fantastic job. I love what Migon and AMA are doing. For under $50, this is an absolute winner. The Migon Moero. If you haven't checked one of these out, highly recommend it. Tie clip, 14C. Looks fantastic. Great blade shape. Hard to beat the Migon Moero. Next up, I wanted to put this one on the list. It's not the best pricing, but with the size that it is, the massive hunk of RPM 9 that you're getting, love this crazy ass blade shape, harpoon, drop point, modified clip point kind of. It's just crazy. Big ass belly here, little bit of straight edge there. Just love the look of this thing. It is nasty, and you have a massive handle here for all kinds of different grips. You can come back here for an extended type. You can have your natural neutral grip there. You can come up here. Just a crazy ass knife, and they did the micarta very well. The premium knife or the premium version of this in S90V would absolutely be insane. The detent is nice and stiff on this guy. You can really thwack this thing out. I actually carried this today, and it's an absolute monster. Love this thing. You have a bronzed pivot collar on both sides. You have Artisan's nice little milled steel clip there. I think that's steel. Then you have a hidden lanyard back here in the back spacer. Nice chamfer on the liner. Definitely a absolute beast work knife. You could use this as an EDC. You could use this as your tactical knife too if you wanted to. This thing is absolutely insane. Love this bad boy. Let's go ahead and get to the next one. Next up, the CIVI Vision FG, guys. This thing makes it on the list. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You are getting Nitro V on the steel that was designed by Snex. You have the dual thumb studs and the super lock for deployment. Love this blade shape. Very useful blade shape. You still have a nice little pokey tip there, and then a crazy amount of edge here to work with. You can choke up right behind it. You can get right up on the tip. This was one of the knives that I couldn't get out of my pocket, and it still has a nice place in my pocket. I switched to a tie clip. Nice micarta handles. There's a bunch of flavors of this knife. Comfortable ergos, neutral handle, crazy super lock, very fidgety, very fun, very strong, very unique. And the CIVI Vision FG is one of my favorite knives of the year in the budget category. Hit the thumbs up button, guys, and let me know down in the comments what you think of these 9 knives. I'd love to hear from you guys. Love hearing what you have to say. Let me know what you think, and if you're new to the channel or you've been here before and you are not subscribed, hit that subscribe button down below the video. Otherwise, I'll catch you on the next one.